Hi everyone, it's Jackie with I think part 8 of the Accordion album, and I'm going to try and get it finished up in this session, so it may be a little bit longer than usual. First, to show you what I've changed or done since the last one, you can see I've put some ribbons in my tags. To do the ribbon I dyed plain white seam binding, and I did it really simply. It's a bit long to show you, but I just used my non-stick mat, squashed my distress ink pads down on it, just 2 or 3 times, not many, and I used scattered straw, wild honey and a bit of Victorian velvet, separated out on the mat, squish them down, spray them with water, plenty of water, and then just dunk your white ribbon in it, wish it about a bit till it's mostly covered, and just leave it to dry. And then I've cut it into quite small lengths and tied it through my tags. You can see the lengths are quite small. Just literally poked it through and tied one knot, going a couple of times from the front and then going the other way, so you get a nice flat knot and it shows on both sides. So that was the ribbon, and we're going to use that to close the book as well. On this side I've changed the back of this photo mat. I decided I didn't like the way I've done it before, so I've just recovered it with the ledger paper, stamped the bird cage again, and that's that one. I've also done a little circle in the middle of the flower there. I just felt that looked better for some reason, and I did it on the other side as well. I showed you that tag, and I've also done the little tag from the Marianne Creatable set, drawn round the inner bit of it to make a tiny journaling spot, and that just pops in there and helps keep everything together. Glued down the oval, and I've made another flower. There's also some little bits of bling on the flourish here. So now we're going to do the back page, and because I've used 6x6 paper, we're just going to do a pocket again, just to make it slightly different from the other one. I had this piece of paper left, and it's let's see, about 3 1/4 by the 6 inches. So I've scored at 7/8 and 7/8 because my width here is 4 1/4, and I think I've done 1 inch at the bottom there. And then I've gone along the top edge and stamped with my doily, punched with my Martha Stewart doily punch. So I'm just going to cut these bits off. I'm going to taper these edges so they don't show when I fold it all up, and I'm going to cut these corners out. Also tapering the edges slightly. Oh, big thumbs. And then I'm going to fold it that way round and glue it together. So I fold the inner ones first, glue that down like that. Before I finish off, I'm going to ink the edges. It's very easy to forget that the inking bit, but I think it's really important, and I try and ink almost everything that I make. I like the way it finishes everything off, gets rid of any white paper. So that's that one done, and we should find that that sits on there quite happily, which it does. So I'm just going to glue that down. I'm going to slow down a bit, I'm rushing and mixing my words up. Try not to do too much of this on camera because obviously it's a bit dull to watch, I imagine. And I personally don't like watching videos. I love watching YouTube videos, and I watch loads obviously, but I don't like them if they're too long. Okay, So that's that stuck down. So you can see that makes quite a nice edge, bits all over the place. And then I wanted tags to go into this pocket, so I've made this one, which is 3 1/4, and I cut it by about 5 1/4. Then I used the template that I had on the other side, put it near the top, just eyeballed it, cut round it so that I've got this shape repeated again. I didn't want this tag to show above the top of the whole thing, so that will sit in there nicely. I wouldn't normally put these in until the glue was a bit drier. And then I wanted another tag. The first one I did was a square one. I wanted the pink, but I wasn't really very happy with that. I haven't got much else that's really square. So, fortunately, I've just taken delivery of this Opulent Ovals, which I treated myself to, and it's rather nice. So I cut out the largest one twice, put them back to back, so you've got a nice finish on both sides, inked the edges, and then to get the matting for this, I just put this down on my paper, drew a pencil line, traced a pencil line around the edge, once on the pattern paper, once on the ledger paper, cut it out, and that makes a nice mat. So that can either go in front or behind your tag. So that's that pocket done. I'm just going to take those out while this glue dries off. Not quite done. So I was going to decorate, and if you remember, I've got a bird on the other side, so I've cut out another memory box bird, a bit bigger this time. Again, I'm using the wrong side of the die because I want him to face inwards, but I've sanded and inked the edges, and that's fine. The little wing isn't part of the die. I just cut a teardrop shape by eye, and he's going to sit on there, and he's going to look at this bird on this side. So I put a bit of bling on his eye, and I've also put a tiny one on this bird that's on the paper. Didn't seem quite right to have one without. So stick him down. I'll put him near the bottom so that he's standing on something. There we are. And then for my front cover, when I look at videos of mini albums, I love looking at all the elaborate front covers people do, but I've never quite been able to do it myself, and the fronts of my albums tend to be quite simple. So I've gone down the oval route again, and I've used this die. Couldn't resist really, it's rather lovely, isn't it? And I've used this one, which is the fourth one out, the outer ring, and then the little one in the middle. So I've cut 3 of that one, matted it in the same way as I did the big oval by drawing around the inner circle, and that's going to be stuck over these butterflies. I haven't used butterflies anywhere else in the album, so I think it might be a good idea to cover those up. That'll be glued flat onto the paper. I've also added a strip of the doily lace punch, and then I've taken the smaller one again. I'm going to leave this one brown, but I've put plenty of black soot around the edges. I've embossed the word remember on it, and that's going to sit on there on foam tape so that it's slightly raised. Maybe we've just got time to do that. Quite like how these dies work when you lay them up to look like chipboard elements. I'm never very successful really using the ones that come with the paper collections, and they add quite a lot of expense when you're buying them, so this system works quite well for me. So that's that one. Sorry, just got to lean round and get my foam tape. Just hiding in here. cutting the corners off that so that it sits a bit better. Put that one there. That one there. And a strip in the middle. That one there. And what I usually do, sorry this is taking time up, which I could have done ahead of time, I usually colour